place to be, where art, life, and spirituality connects you and me. Science of mind and spirit, the foundation we teach and live. Love, joy, and belonging are the gifts we have to give. Our consciousness, our being, open at the bottom, open at the top. We're not simply one with God, but we are it itself. It will never stop. SIA, our spiritual center, family and home. It's where we come to practice and remember there is only one life, one mind, one infinite, eternal, self-existent. 'Cause we pause, embodying all that we are. We shine like a glorious star. Our consciousness, our being, open at the bottom, open at the top. We're not simply one with God, but we are it itself. It will never stop. SIA, our spiritual center, family and home. It's where we come to practice and remember there is only one. Spirituality is our way of life. We value laughter, truth, and justice. We express artistry as our living practice. So come and join us at SIA. Know you found a community that will love you every day.
Namaste, greetings and blessings, and welcome to the Center for Spiritually Integrated Arts. This is our Sunday message, and I am Reverend Dr. Raymont Anderson, the founder and spiritual director of this center. And I invite you to watch not only this Sunday message, but any of our archived messages. I invite you to join any classes or events that we have going on. I invite you to reach out and email if you have any questions. Questions about this community, questions about me, questions about what we do, or questions about this science of mind and spirit, liberation theology that we practice and teach. And if by chance you find yourself seeking beloved community with other like-minded beings, even if you already belong, are a member of another community, church, or center, you are more than free to have multiple affiliations wherever you are fed and find community. You are invited. And lastly, feel free to click like, subscribe, and share this or any other message or announcements with others in your circle. And with that, much appreciation, love, and blessings. Enjoy the message.
SIA is the place to be. So buckle up, we're making history. And if you are willing, repeat after me. I am love. I am love. it right. One more time. I am love. I am joy. I am divine. Amen. Yes, you are. Amen. Yes, you are. Now today's message begins.
Namaste and greetings as we continue our conversation about whole, no matter what. Today we are talking about what we believe about wholeness we demonstrate. Brace yourselves for today. We are going into a territory that many fear to tread. When we embody the realization that all humanity, every person, is an incarnation of divinity, and that all life is included in one global family, we will recognize and relate based on the wholeness inherent in all people. When we leave anyone, including nature, animals, etc., when we leave them out of this equation, when we deny another's wholeness or divinity, we are actually denying God. So this week, let's explore. Let's explore this area of challenge and growth. I'm telling you now, breathe, because I'm telling you. Okay, so in order to fully study, integrate, and apply the key concepts of today's message, let us begin with some malfinations. Definitions. Are you ready? Okay. Human. Definition. Relating to people. Humankind. Often referred to as mankind. Human beings. Humane. Showing kindness, compassion, and concern for others, regardless if that is people or animals. Humanity. Humanity refers to the collective human race, encompassing all people as well as, ideally, the qualities of compassion, kindness, social intelligence that defines human nature. It represents both the state of being human as well as the shared ethics of altruism. The term also covers cultural, literary, and philosophical studies that are often lumped into the category and referred to as the humanities. Key aspects of humanity: the human race, the entire collection of human beings, past and present, the quality of being humane, which once again is synonymous with kindness, sympathy, and benevolence, virtue and ethics, a core human virtue that is often linked to altruism and compassion, and the humanities, specific fields of study focused on human culture, which includes literature, history, and art. Good so far? Okay. We understand human. It's very easy to understand, right? So some examples of how we use the word. Doctors study the human body. To err is human. In other words, it is natural for humans to make mistakes. Humane. The judge made a humane decision, showing mercy. The man is very humane in his treatment of animals. Still good? Okay. Humanity. These scientific discoveries will be of benefit to all humanity. The dictator lacked humanity and was not concerned with the number of people who were hungry. The nurses showed great humanity in the way they cared for the frightened patient. Still good? Okay. She is taking courses in both the sciences and the humanities. We acquire a new sense of human values in realizing that all humanity is divinity, waking up to itself through self-discovery and self-realization. All people are of God. All people are God. All people are individualized expressions of God. The only evidence we have of divinity is humanity. It is extremely important for us to be mindful and aware of how we are using the words human, humane, humanity, divinity, etc. Because it is easy for us to get confused when people say things like my human self, as though it is separate from their divine self. There is only one self, and that self is God. So your human self is your divine self, and vice versa. When we think this body is something other than divine, we are doing a disservice to our self-discovery, self-realization, and effective way of living. All people, yes, all people are of God. All people are individualized expressions of God. Okay, yeah, you went there, didn't you? All people? All people are individualized expressions of God. But keeping in mind, the people who we see here, which are people we very often refer to as evil because of what they have done, the law, lowercase l, nor the law, capital L, excuses, makes excuses, accepts or condones the heinous atrocities, the non-life affirming behaviors and actions of anyone. So we are being invited to recognize the rather challenging paradox of both and. Both and what? They are both divine incarnations of God, and they are humans who, for whatever reason, acted and behaved in ways that are not humane. Both and. So, how do I reconcile this both and thing in my life? How am I supposed to see Hitler or some other person as divine? Well, breathe as we pause for a brief commercial break. Very often you may have heard the term positive thinking. What is positive thinking? Very often we use it to reference things that we call good. It's answered prayer. It's having your wishes manifested. We often accredit it to the author of the book, The Power of Positive Thinking, Norman Vincent Peale, who wrote a great number of books, such as those that you see on your screen. You may also know that there is a certain individual that many people have categorized his success or attributed his success to this man, Norman Vincent Peale, to his teaching, The Power of Positive Thinking, etc. Who is this man, you ask? Well, none other than our current president. However, there is a deep nuance that many of these people who attribute this skill, this affiliation, there is a key nuance thing that these people are missing. And it ties directly into what we are talking about today. What is this nuance, you ask? Well, if we attribute the power of positive thinking to the current president in the same way that many refer to it, then these other individuals also must be new thought individuals because of their power of positive thinking. Don't believe me? Let's go further. The president has frequently cited Dr. Peale as the greatest speaker who he has ever witnessed, and the president has absorbed his core lesson, which is what the mind can conceive and believe, and the heart desires, you can achieve. How is that any different than Hitler? Hitler had a mind that could conceive and believe and had a heart that desired in the final solution, and for many years was able to achieve great evil acts. Visualization of success. Failure is not a concept. Do not dwell on it. Do not accept it. If you project immense confidence and affirm victory, then you can manifest that reality. Is that not the exact same thing as Reverend Jim Jones, Ted Bundy? Well, okay, what about rejection of victimhood? The president frequently applies this mindset by urging supporters and whatnot, see yourself strictly as a winner, not a victim. He frames success as a byproduct of individual determination, individual, doesn't matter about other people, ambition, and aggressively pushing past obstacles. So when someone tells you no, why listen to her? For her, no means yes, because for me, I'm going to aggressively push past the obstacle of her no when she really means yes, because I am a winner. Then we close with, to relentlessly focus on projecting a positive, victorious reality shapes how he handles crises, as well as public messaging and criticism. By consciously shifting away from negative or vulnerable thoughts, sometimes referred to by him as the power of positive non-thinking, or what we refer to as simply negative thinking, he is able to sidestep. So the criticism isn't criticism because he's a winner, not a victim. Well, how many of these serial killers saw themselves as winners, who didn't care what the public messaging was, such as Charles Manson, Jim Jones, etc.? Well, this is one of the main reasons, if not the main reason, I do not use positive to mean good or negative to mean bad. This is why I use life affirming and non-life affirming. Because the question is, does the thought, the behavior, the action, etc., does it affirm life or deny life? Capital L, life. Does it affirm love, joy, peace, or does it deny love, joy, peace? Breathe. So let us return to our regularly scheduled programming while keeping in mind the concept of positive thinking. Where do we leave off? How do I reconcile this both and thing? Well, it's a great question. And so I will use Star Wars as my analogy, as my example. How do you reconcile it? You trust in the Force. What do I mean by that? Well, let's go to a quote by Marianne Williamson. She says, "To trust in the force that moves the universe is faith. Faith isn't blind, it's visionary." Now let us pause for a moment and acknowledge the ableism by equating blindness with, let's stop referring to it as blind. Okay, so that's number one. But let's go a little deeper. To trust in the force that moves the universe, that's faith. To trust in the force that moves in, through, and as the universe is faith. Faith isn't ignorant, nor is it unaware. Faith is visionary. So how do I reconcile this? By having a visionary faith. Now, what is this visionary faith? What does it do then? When we trust in this force, what does it do? Breathe. Because we're going to get to it. There is no use in our screaming that God is love because it sounds pretty, because it sounds grand. We will never know whether or not the everlasting arms are all around us, are what we are, expressing as us, unless and until, and in such degree, as our arms are around humanity. Stop talking about God encircling and taking care of if we are not encircling and taking care of. So how do we reconcile this both and? Faith, trusting in the force, embodying it, demonstrating it. So when we demonstrate it, what does that mean we do? Back to Star Wars. For those of you who may not be familiar, this young boy is Anakin Skywalker. As Anakin grew up, well, when Anakin first met a couple of Jedi, Anakin was recognized as being strong with the Force, and that he was the one who would restore balance to the Force. And yet, as Anakin grew older and stronger in his use as a Jedi apprentice, and then Jedi, he continued to grow and develop, and he couldn't reconcile his anger and his fear, which as a result, he turned to the dark side and became a Sith. This led him to fighting his quote-unquote brother Jedi and mentor, Obi-Wan Kenobi, which left Anakin greatly injured on the volcanic planet Mustafar. It is because of these injuries that Anakin then became the individual we know as Darth Vader. Darth Vader, Anakin, is also the father of Luke Skywalker. So in the story, we eventually see Luke meeting Darth Vader, battling him, and yet Luke, through his own self-realization and self-discovery, reached an awareness where he could feel the good in Darth Vader. And not only could he feel it, but because of his trust in the Force, his embodiment of it, it wasn't Vader is either good or bad. It is because of where he is, there is a struggle, there is a battle, but the good is there. The divine is there. And because Luke was able to recognize it, he was able to, in essence, save him. Now, he didn't want to leave him, but he said, I'll not leave you here. I've got to save you. To which his father said, you already have. Because Luke was able to see the good and help Anakin to restore balance to himself. He returned to the light side of the Force. Breathe. We envision a world in which we live and grow as one global family that respects and honors the interconnectedness of all life. A world where this kinship with all life prospers and connects through the guidance of spiritual wisdom and experience. So once again, how do we reconcile? How do we embody this? How do we embody this aspect of the CSL global vision and live it? To embody this realization that all of humanity is divinity and that we are one global family, we have to recognize, honor, and respond as though we realize, not just believe in the wholeness inherent in all people. When we leave anyone out of the equation, including nature, we are denying the wholeness, we are denying God, we are ignoring it. So once again, how do we see and respond to both and? Breathe. The artist Jonathan Harris painted this image of this individual painting whitewashing over several famous Black individuals. There are many people who are anti-DEI. If I were to ask you, as we talk about trusting the Force, what is the role of Christ consciousness in this trusting the Force? And what is the role of anti-DEI as it pertains to being anti-Christ consciousness? Because let us be very clear. Christ consciousness is aligned with Jedi, justice, equity, diversity, and inclusion, because that is a divine demonstration of there is only one life, and that life is God. And that life is wonderful and beautiful and loving, creative, and yes, within that one life, there are the Jeffrey Dahmers and the Hitlers. Yes. But they are not demonstrating the life-affirming aspect of this one life. Just as Darth Vader was not using the life-affirming aspect of the Force. There's only one Force, and he was using it to cause harm. Christ consciousness is our ability to use our divinity to benefit all of creation. We cannot exclude anything from a divine inclusion. That which God has put together, created, and is showing up as, none of us can separate or diminish. Breathe. So we are, in the grand scheme of things, what we are being invited into in order to reconcile this both and, we are invited into a synergistic system of how we show up in the world. Synergy. Our mind should swing between contemplation, prayer, and action. Action as vision, as well as physical action. And it should start with communion with the ineffable. However, the communion would have to go beyond simply petitioning, begging, or trying to appease. It would start at a level which is as human as trading horses. Now, that's some old phrase, concept, but simply means it starts at a level that is so easily applied and understood. As simple as trading horses. Like that's not complicated. As simple as washing the dishes. That's not complicated. Feeding the dog. That's not complicated. Putting on your shoes. That's not complicated. But let's remix this nonetheless. Are you ready? Okay. Our mental equivalence ideally should work as a synergistic system where our thoughts, ideas, beliefs, contemplations, communications, emotions, feelings, and behaviors are all prayer in motion, where the activity of our lives is our amen. Our amen is both our actions as well as the motivation, the inspiration, and the vision that moves us. And it must start with the recognition that the ineffable God is incarnating itself as us, and that we are forever and always in divine communion with and as the divine. Always. Breathe. So it is easy to understand the basic concept of how the human body works as a synergistic system. And we are encouraged to continue the work to ensure that the body and all of the organs, that everything is functioning optimally. We understand that. But are we willing to do the same thing regarding our thoughts and ideas, etc.? We exercise the body in order to be strong and flexible and resilient, healthy. How do we exercise our mind and our emotions and our communication to do the same? We nourish the body to keep it hydrated. We nourish the body and keep it hydrated. What is the equivalent when it comes to our mental equivalents? Thoughts, words, feelings, actions. Because we cannot separate. How we take care of our body is a spiritual practice. But there are a lot of us, well, if we're honest, there are a lot of us who aren't taking care of our bodies, let alone our minds. But our invitation, how do we integrate all of it and show up as one cohesive, synergistic system of the divine, living, moving, and having its beingness every day, in every way? Breathe. You can trust this something that you call life. It is not only where you are, it is what you are. It is in and all around you. And its whole impulsion is love. This is why I refer to things as life affirming. The very fact that when you were born, you reached out in trust to those nearest you is proof enough of this premise. Just accept then, no matter what your experience may have been up till now, the truth about you is that while you were born of human parentage, what you really are, that which came through this human parentage, is an original, creative, and wonderful being. You are God's beloved child. You are God expressing. You don't have to make this up. It isn't just an idle sentiment. It isn't a platitude. It is real. It is the truth about you. Accept it and be glad. Now, the next proposition is that this is also true about everyone you will ever meet. Everyone has the same feelings that you have, the same desires, the same needs. And no one can be truly happy until they have worked out a right relationship with God. Right relationship with God? A right relationship as God. Because when we work out this right relationship as God, then it is far easier to recognize this other person. Yes, you are God. That does not excuse what you have done. However, because I am able to see what you are, the truth of what you are, it changes because now I need not warehouse you. I can make the prison system more humane, less violent. I don't have to treat you like an animal and cage you. I can treat you like a human being and treat you. Breathe. Pain. What about it? Well, are you ashamed of your pain? Do you know someone who is ashamed of their pain or their illness, their sickness, their discomfort? Do you treat taking medication like it's a failure? Are you one of those new thought individuals who believes that you should never experience any of it? And I won't mention it because to mention it is evidence of failure. I'm going to think positive. I'm going to talk positive. Okay, I got you. However, I want us to rethink this idea. Just like when you go to a doctor and they know there's going to be some pain, they ask you to, they use the pain assessment tool. Based upon your pain today, where would you rate it? Well, let's ask. As far as you being a social being, what is your pain assessment? Financially, what is your pain assessment? Physical, spiritual, emotional, mental. What is your pain assessment? What level of discomfort are you experiencing on any of these? And once again, referencing positive thinking, simply thinking positive is not the answer. Simply thinking positive or denying one's pain will not cause it to magically disappear any more than positive thinking or denying hunger will stop a child from starving to death. That level of positive thinking that actually believes that is actually metaphysical malpractice and metaphysical malfeasance because it actually causes more harm, which is what we are witnessing at present by our current administration. I know the world is bruised and bleeding. And though it is important not to ignore its pain, it is also critical to refuse to succumb to its malevolence. Like failure, chaos contains information that can lead to knowledge. We need not allow ourselves to be drowned by the quicksand of the malevolence going on in the world. You see, we can begin where we are, such as this younger version of me. I hope you didn't hear that. This younger version of me, right? Riding my bike. But I experienced great traumas and tribulations and trials in my life. Many. And yet my invitation was, how do I transform the bike? And not just transform the bike, but how do I really transform, transmute, and have triumphs? Well, it involved and continues to involve me being able to transmogrify, me being able to study, integrate, and apply what I know works as spiritual practices and principles. Does that mean that there are not challenges? Nope. Because challenge isn't a bad thing. The Olympics is all about various athletes coming together to challenge themselves in competition. Challenge is not bad. Challenge is part of life. But the question is, how are we engaging the challenge? Are we engaging in it a way where we think me being challenged means I'm failing at my prayers? What? No. No. Get that out of your mind. Because when you judge and criticize yourself that way, we're actually making it easier to criticize and judge others in similar ways. So when we look around and we see all of the various things that are happening and the various people doing all kinds of things, we ask ourselves, so what do I do now? What do I do now? And actually, according to Spock, the more logical question is, what do I choose to do now? What is the desired end result? And what must I be? And what must I do in order to manifest that end result? In order to do that, I have to identify it, imagine, in other words, envision it, and then implement what needs to be implemented to bring it about. Breathe. To actively embody and engage the science of mind and spirit 4.0 is to actively practice recognizing God in all and as all, even those, especially those people we do not like. Seeing them for who and what they are does not nullify, nor does it absolve them of their behaviors. Actually, it gives us the ability to hold them more accountable. If they cause harm, they are to be held accountable and responsible for the harm they cause. But once again, because of how we recognize them, we hold them to a different level of responsibility and accountability that recognizes the divinity in a humane way of how we treat them. Our recognition of them changes how we respond and are held to account for their treatment, for their care, their rehabilitation, their healing, etc., which includes justice. So if they are to go to jail, they go to jail. But that does not mean that they are caged like an animal. We see that which is truly as it is, the divine God source spirit, and it helps us to see ourselves and others and life in general the same way. This difference, our ability to recognize the divine, makes a profoundly impactful difference. And as we apply it in life-affirming ways, the results are vast. Breathe. This week's affirmation, our declaration, I will say it first. If it resonates with you, I invite you to repeat it with me the second time. I recognize and honor that I am part of one divine global family. And we could even take out global, cosmic. But nonetheless, together, I recognize and honor that I am part of one divine global family. And so it is. This week's practice for the Thursday night study group, or for your own personal journal questions. Number 1. What are the signs that show when I am and when I am not trusting the force? Number 2. What areas of my life am I being invited to embody and demonstrate more synergy? Number 3. When have I helped another person realize a transformative and healing truth about them and their life? Number 4. What is my greatest challenge with seeing and treating people that I do not like as God incarnating? Number 5. When have I viewed pain or illness, etc., as a weakness or as failure? And lastly, what is something I learned by my own choosing from a painful experience in my life? And as we continue the practice, our invitation is to have a conversation with someone about the intersection of Jedi, Jedi, if you remember what the acronym was, with Science of Mind and Spirit 4.0. How this connection is involved in creating a world that works for all. Have a conversation about it. And with that, we go into the place of closing with prayer as my stomach continues to growl. And so we breathe, knowing that all that we do and all we are doing and all that we are is our prayer, and it is how we are creating a world that works for all. And so we breathe and recognize the divine as the face and the body that is reflected back to us in the mirror, as the face and body of the persons in our family, in our inner circle, in our extended circle, the circle of strangers and beyond. We recognize it as the face and body of a pet who is also a member of this divine global family. We recognize it in the face and the body of the trees, the roses, the grass. We recognize it as the face and the body of everything and everyone. And the more we recognize it as such, it changes how we respond. I do not like dog doo-doo. I will not pick it up and play with it. But I recognize it for what it is, and I tend to it appropriately. I don't kick it. If necessary, I scoop it up with a little shovel and brush, and I put it where it is supposed to go. When I encounter anything or anyone that I do not like, I'm not running up to a skunk and saying, "Hey, Mr. Skunk, come, let's play." Because I don't want to be sprayed. So I recognize it's a skunk. I know what it is capable of doing. If I ever go on safari, I'm not going to run and chase a rhino trying to play with it, or a leopard, because a leopard will eat my face. I recognize it for what it is and what it can do. And I treat it with respect. I honor it. I even celebrate the majesty of a cobra and like, wow, just look at it from a distance, but look at it. So by recognizing the face and the body, the divine in all and as all, does not mean we must be buddy-buddy and hugged all up with. It means we acknowledge, we honor, we respect, and we treat one another accordingly. So even as that applies to people in our own lives who harm us with their words and their actions, how are we invited to respond in the most loving and life-affirming way possible? For some, that may mean severing a bridge, knowing that in the grand scheme, we cannot be unseparated. But if it is healthier to not be in communication, then it is healthier to not be in communication. That is the most life-affirming thing to do, then we do it. Creating a world that works for all does not involve us sitting down and twiddling our thumbs and thinking positive and ignoring the conditions of life. It means we actively study and integrate and apply in a scientific manner what we know works for us and what will change our individual lives and the lives of all collectively. Because we know ultimately the wholeness that God is what we are. And so we demonstrate it by how we show up. Knowing that this amen is already demonstrating and manifesting accordingly, we simply breathe and say amen. And so it is. And so it is. So as always, go out and be love, act fabulous, know joy, and live love every day. Love and appreciate you. You are divine. Until next week, see you soon.
Today's message is complete, something to believe, a seed of truth that we can practice if we choose to receive. As we take the science of mind and spirit pour it over to every corner of the world where the healing needs to go. We know it's not a secret, can't block behind a door. It's the wisdom that we're living, and love is what we share it for. Now step into the world, be a healing, hopeful beacon. You're walking the path and offering to all who may be seeking. Know it, practice it, live it every day. That's how we heal the consciousness. We wash the ignorance away. Time to heal the world and make the vision come true. No more waiting for someone else to do what we can do. With gratitude, love, and a joy so deep. We have principles, practices, and promises we're all going to keep. Take the teaching out into the busy street, to every stranger and every soul you meet. Dedication to liberation is the key we hold. A story of freedom that's waiting to be told. Right where you are is holy ground. Feel into your rhythm and the sacred sound. You're an incarnation of the divine. You're holy, powerful, and good. And you are called to be that in the world and do what only you could. Know it, practice it, live it every day. That's how we heal the consciousness. We wash the ignorance away. Time to heal the world and make the vision come true. No more waiting for someone else to do what we can do. With gratitude, love, and a joy so deep. We have principles, practices, and promises we're all going to keep. Be the change that you want to see. Unlock the chains and set all life free. From the heart of the city to the jungles and open plains, breaking the cycles of oppression and its heavy chains. It's a revolution of the body, the mind, and the soul. Mending, making, and manifesting the broken parts now finally whole. Know it, practice it, live it every day. That's how we heal the consciousness. We wash the ignorance away. Time to heal the world and make the vision come true. No more waiting for someone else to do what we can do. With gratitude, love, and a joy so deep. We have principles, practices, and promises we're all gonna keep. Right where you are sacred. Right where you are, shining so bright. Right where you are, the divine is expressing. Right where you are, life. So live it every day. Make the vision now come sing. In divine is not far off watching. It is incarnating itself as you. Have an amazing week and know that you are loved.